All right, Tonya, we get so many questions at the Extension office about watering houseplants. How much?
Yes.
All right.
Well, it depends a lot on the type of plant that you're
Yes.
talking about. But I'm going to teach you a little trick of the trade
Yes, teach us
today.
a trick. We need that for sure.
Yes. So when my very first job out of college,
Okay.
moved to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I was an interior plant technician, which meant I walked around the city with a watering can and took care of plants in office buildings, the U.S. Mint, really cool places all over the city.
Okay.
And so I'm going to show you the self-watering container system that we used there. And keep in mind though that not every single house plant is going to be well suited for this system. Most are, but there are some plants that like to go really dry, like it used to be called Sansevieria, but now they've changed the name to Dracaena, but mother-in-law's tongue is one.
Right.
Cactus maybe not so much.
Right.
Ponytail palms because they have that base that they hold water.
Right.
But for most of your tropical plants, a self-watering system is a great way to go because it takes the guesswork out and it keeps the plants evenly moist.
Good.
It's also really good if you just forget to water. Maybe you only want to water once every other week, which is why we use the system. We could put our plants on a 2-week rotation.
Nice.
And so yeah, it's a great method to use.
Yes, please teach us that method for sure.
Okay,
All right.
so you can buy self-watering containers at the store, but we made our own there, and this is how we did it. You start with a decorative pot, no holes in the bottom.
No holes.
No holes.
All right.
And then that's the first component of your self-watering system. Then you need a riser. Your riser can be, this is just a saucer from a clay pot. It can be a piece of a brick. It can be, we used heavy duty styrofoam. Whatever can be submerged constantly is okay to put in the bottom of your container as your riser. Okay, and then the third component is you need to get yourself some Capillary Mat Fabric. This is a whole lot like felt.
Okay.
This is used in the nursery industry. They place these capillary mat fabrics underneath seedling trays, and you can water directly on this fabric and it soaks it in from the bottom. But we're going to cut ours into strips. This is readily available online. You can just, search in your search engine for Capillary Mat Fabric. And then if you'll hand me that plant over there.
And what kind of plant is it?
This is a Monstera. Which is very hot right now, but this is a Monstera, and we are going to put our capillary mat strips into the drainage holes of the nursery container. Now, a lot of people, when they buy an interior plant, the first thing they want to do when they get home is take it out of this grow pot and pot it in something else. That's really not necessary. The only reason that'd be necessary is if there's way too many, if it's roots everywhere and girdled. So, sorry, let me just move this over. So if there's roots going everywhere and it seems pot bound, yeah. But most of the time you don't have to do that for 2-3 years sometimes. They're fine in these pots. So I take my capillary strip and I'm using a long screwdriver, and you're just gonna shove it into the drainage hole here.
How about that?
Make sure you get it in there pretty good.
Okay.
And you leave some to dangle so that it will reach to the bottom of your deco pot after this is on the riser.
Okay.
You want to do at least 2 strips, one on each side.
And get it in far enough.
Yes.
Okay. How about that?
Now it's able to soak up from the bottom of your container.
Okay.
That's the basics of a self-watering system. And then you just put this down in here and you water right straight into this space, and you can fill up the entire water reservoir. Maybe it's 2 or 3 inches tall, that riser, and you won't have to worry about it until that reservoir is empty. Now, let's say you've got a ginormous pot and you're not going to be able to see in the bottom to see if there's any water in that reservoir. What do you do? Well, you need a few more things to go in your pot at that point. So this is just clear plastic tubing, which I bought on the internet. It's used for like shipping and things like that. And you cut it to size. So the height of your container, you want to cut little notches in the bottom to allow the water to go in.
All right.
They come in different lengths, but usually you'll have to buy your tubing and then cut it to size, which is what I did with that one.
Okay. And I see it's easy to cut.
Yes,
so
just scissors.
Okay.
Okay, since I already know this one's the right length, I'm just going to pop that right down in there. It's right there.
Okay.
Then you're going to make a bobber.
Bobber, all right.
Now this is 3/16 of an inch plastic tubing. You get this from aquarium supply stores or pet supply on the internet.
Okay.
We use all sorts of things in gardening, don't we?
I see. Make use of everything.
Yes,
all
and
right.
then you're going to cut it to size. You're going to want it to cut it off to where it'll be even with the top of that tube. Very simple to cut. But I'm going to leave a little bit more because we're going to put a bobber on it.
Gotcha.
Okay, this is, I know most of you have this at home. It's just
I think we know what that
cork.
is. Yeah.
So I took, if you can find them, these are, you know, dangerous now, but ice pick.
Yeah.
Make your little hole there, your ice pick. And then you can use some hot glue too if you need to make it where it won't come out.
Okay.
But you're gonna put this little piece of clear plastic tubing into your cork like that. Okay, so mine didn't go in that far, so now I'm gonna cut the top like this.
Gotcha.
All right, then to make it look pretty, because this doesn't look attractive, this is foam from an upholstery store. Like if you were going to reupholster a chair or something.
Okay.
This is the most expensive component of all of this, by the way. You would not believe how expensive foam is.
How about that?
But anyway, I've already measured this, and you just cut it with regular scissors, or a serrated knife actually works the best. And you make yourself a little collar, and we're gonna hide all of this.
Look at that. How about that?
We're gonna hide it all with just inexpensive Spanish moss. You can use pebbles, you can use any kind of moss that you'd like to use.
I love gardeners. Make everything look so pretty, right?
Resourceful, right?
Oh God, resourceful makes it look beautiful.
And then maybe if we had a little more, I might put a little more and hide the foam real well. But in the end, you're not going to see all of that.
You're not going to see it, right? That's funny.
You'll cover up the foam, and and this is clear.
Okay.
And now let me show you the right way to water it. Now this is a brand new system. So the very first time you water it, you're going to water from the top to saturate. Make sure you get the soil saturated, and you're going to fill up that reservoir.
Okay. I think watering is the #1 question you get about houseplants these days.
Yes.
What you think?
Water, how much do you water?
How much do you water?
And then probably insect problems are #2. Look, that
Oh,
bobber is already starting to float.
It sure is. How about that?
So another thing you can do,
Golly.
you can, if this is a really big container, you could measure how tall your riser is. Let's say my riser is 2 inches tall. Then you get a Sharpie, measure 2 inches, make a mark.
Okay.
And when the bobber is up where that mark is, you know your reservoir is full. And so now to check your plant, you do this. If it floats, you're done. And that's pretty much all there is to it. A little DIY for you.
I like that. That's pretty neat.
Good.
We need to get more people to do this. Yeah,
Yes.
that way you don't have the question about the watering, right?
Right. You can, if you
my
tell us what
gosh.
kind of plants you've got, we can tell you this is great for aglaonemas and pothos, philodendron, all of your tropical plants that like to stay evenly moist.
Okay. And for the most part, like you said, it's pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
Other than the foam.
Yes. The only problem is you may have to buy these in a multi-pack. It's hard to find just one of these.
Okay.
And the foam, but after you have all of your components, then you can make a bunch. So.
Tonya, thank you much.
You're so welcome.
Oh, that is pretty neat. Pretty neat. Got to get one of these at home, y'all. Thank you, Tonya. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.